The two chaps to my left here have been badgering me to look at the Hennessy for quite some time now, and I've finally relented under two conditions. The first one is that they don't ramble on and on and on and on. And the second condition is that between them they come up with a winner, or if they're tipping one horse, it is the winner. So Nick, we'll start with you. I want to start with Great Endeavour. What do you think?
Yeah, you can start with him. That's fine. He's got a. They did this a few years ago. Celestial Gold. They did the Paddy Power and Hennessy Double, and obviously looking to do it again. The Warrior Great Endeavour, obviously, it's been alluded to before, his stamina, whether he's got the stamina of 3 mile 2. I suppose that's debatable. If you look at his run in the Spinal Research Chase at Cheltenham, at the festival in March, that was over 3 miles, just over 3 miles. Looked as though he's just coming into the end of his tether when he fell 2 out in the race won by Ben Salem. So a bit of a query on that front. The better the ground, the better his chance. If he got soft, then he'd struggle on stamina grounds. I think he'll be okay, you know. He's won round Toasted before, which is one of the stiffest tracks in the country, obviously. I think he'll be all right for stamina.
What trip was the Toaster win?
It was 2 miles 6, I believe.
Okay.
So if you can win round 2 miles 6 at Toaster, you ought to get it. But it might be that as he's got older, he does prefer less of a test than he did in his younger days. He's not for me, but I do respect his chance. You know, he's a little bit in and out, and he showed his good side at Cheltenham. Whether he'll do it again this time, I don't know. OK, I'll just refer you to a Facebook comment here from Matty Smith. As long as things go smoothly and preparation is not interrupted, then I'd say Great Endeavour is the one to beat. What about you, Ted?
Again, I've kind of echoed a lot of what Nick's saying. On his day, he's brilliant. I reckon he could be a 160 rated chaser, but that's when his day happens. When he doesn't have his day, he looks awful. OK. I couldn't have him for the Paddy Power at all. He was beaten 30 lengths last year off a £5 lower mark, and then just turned up and a massively improved horse. So it's his inconsistency which lets him down on that front, plus the 3 mile 2 furlongs. They always go helter-skelter in this. The 3 mile run at Cheltenham last year showed the petrol tank was empty, and I think it will empty again. OK, so that's one favourite ruled out. We'll move on to another one then. Ted, 1833. Yeah, out the two have been much more in the 1833 camp. Since they got this horse, this has been the race for him. It's been the plan for him for 2-3 years now. Yeah. He's a brilliant bold jumper. He showed that at the course last year. He won 2 races, albeit small fields, in fantastic style. The negative about him is on what he's actually achieved on the race course. A handicap mark of 152 is, well, I think it's quite high. And Paul Nicholls echoed that last year when he said, I cannot work out how Pandorama, who's won a Grade 1, is rated off 144. 1833, he's won a couple of Egg and Spoon races. OK, he's won them by a country mile, but he gets a mark of 152. So it's the potential versus what he's achieved conundrum here, which at his price 6 to 1, I could see him easily winning, but he's going to have to run to, you know, a level he hasn't done yet before, and whether he can or not, I'm yet to see it on a race course to back him as a favourite. OK, Nick, we've got another Facebook comment here from an Aaron Swift. 1833, made for this race, get on. Do you agree with that? No, I don't like him at all.
Don't you?
No, I don't. I thought he won 2 really, really soft races last season. The first one of them, his main rival, Telmacine, died in the race. He fell at the cross fence, so he's left to come home alone. The next race was a small runner field. Tara Blaze, his main rival, never jumped a fence, so it made it very, very straightforward for him. As soon as he was pitched into decent company in the RSA, which I never fancied him for beforehand, he ran a very poor race. I think he's got a lot to prove. Well, I'll come to Michel Le Bon in a minute, but I don't like 1833. I think he's got a lot to prove, and he's done his winning in small fields, which it won't be on Saturday. OK, well, you mentioned Michel Le Bon there. This is from Harry Muncaster. Don't underestimate the return of course specialist Michel Le Bon. The Nicholls team will have him spot on, and if he still retains the ability he has shown previously, then he is certainly a contender. Nick, you'd go along with that, wouldn't you? Yeah, absolutely. He's a fascinating contender. I don't think anything like this would ever have been achieved should he pull it off. In that he's going for this race on his second chase start, and his last chase start was about 2 years ago. He's got a very good course record at Newbury. He likes the track and won his Grade 2 novice chase here by about 60 lengths, I think. Not been seen since, not been anything seriously wrong with him as far as I'm led to believe. It's just a few little niggles that have just he's not been able to get back on the track. But I think he's got a huge engine, this horse. I think where this mission will pass or fail will be the jumping, because obviously in public he's only jumped round once. Now, Paul Nicholls has said at home he will have been schooled over at least 200 fences by the time he gets to the Hennessy. And it all depends on what kind of rhythm he can get into. Newbury is good for that, and it helps in that respect because it's a good rhythm track. It's long straights. The fences are nice and evenly spaced out, and if you can get over the first few, and get into that nice relentless kind of rhythm. He won't fail for lack of an engine, I don't think, because I think this could be a really, really good horse, and he's running off, I think, 10 stone 4, and he could be much better than his handicap mark. So I'm going to take the chance. He's going to be fit enough. Nichols will have him fit. It's just a question of whether his jumping holds up.
But what about a question of his price as well? I mean, 7 to 1, 8 to 1. Do you think that's realistic after such a long break?
I think you can still get a bit bigger than that in a place, but if you look hard enough. But I mean, price-wise, put him up a couple of weeks ago, and obviously he's a bigger price then. So obviously the money's going to come for him a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you might find you might get bigger on the day. It might drift, you know. People looking at his record and thinking, oh, well, that's a big ask, you know. So he might be one. You might find a better price on the morning of the race, but I'm quite happy to give him the chance.
Okay, so he's your major selection. Moving on to you, Ted, what would your best selection be?
My best selection would be Wymot. I think pulling up in last year's RSA chase is a blessing in disguise. Small fracture of the leg. Before that, I was very impressed with the way where he won. I mean, he was putting some brilliant performances at Exeter and whatnot last season. And it's just purely from a handicapping perspective. If he'd run a really good race in the RSA, finishing top 3, he'd be running off a mark of around 158, 160, something like that perhaps. He runs off 144 here. This is his RSA chase in effect, which injury prevented him from showing his best colours. I think he could be a Stonewell in here.
Dear.
It wouldn't surprise me. He's a horse who does need a flat track, I get the feeling. I think he's ideal. I quickly touched on 1833 as well. Daryl Jacobs, as soon as he got off that horse, said he needs soft ground. He cannot run on good ground. He's running on flat tyres at Cheltenham. The same applies to Wymot as well. I would be worried if the ground comes up rattling quick. It's on the slow side of good at the moment, with a few showers expected. So I think we're going to be okay on.
It's unlikely to be that quick.
It's unlikely to be that quick. Cheltenham Festival quick anyway. So I think he's very well handicapped. With a lot of money from it at the moment. McCain Yard have been saying he's absolutely flying up the gallops. He's recovered from his injury. He's in great shape. I think a flat track, 3 miles, 2 furlongs. I just essentially think he will turn out to be the best handicapped horse in the field. Okay, so it's Wymot for you. It's Michel Le Bon for you. Just looking down some others, just for a line on each. Wayward Prince, Nick? Wayward Prince probably best on the flat track. Okay. Wymot's beaten him already over hurdles, and I think probably he's just a better horse. Has more ability out of the pair of them. They're similar type of horses, really. And he gets £6 from him as well. Exactly. So out of the two, I'd prefer Ted's Wymot to Wayward Prince. Okay. And Beshabar, Ted? I kind of like it, but Tim Vaughan throws out the he'll come on for the run and later targets are the aim. The national. As soon as I hear that we'll come on for a run, I put a line straight through it. Yeah. He'll run well, but he'll finish 6th or 7th, I think. All right. John Cole's only likely to take part if it's heavy, which is unlikely. Quite a lot of money recently for Planet of Sound. Another Tom put that up at 33s. Can you see where he's coming from with that? Yeah, definitely. If you go back, a couple of seasons, and obviously he had pretty good form and looked superb when he won at Punchestown. The race that Ted will remember very well. Yeah, winning long shot, yeah. Absolutely, yes. Long time ago now. He hasn't run for a while, but I'm sure Philip Hobbs will have him fit, and if he's back to his best, then yeah, you could see him running a big race, definitely. Okay, and what about Ted, the giant bolster, who unseated as the first in the Paddy Power? Can you have him if he maybe jumps the first 2 or 3? Can't jump at all. His last win was £6 lower. It's off 146. I don't see why he necessarily should win any race at the moment. No. I mean, if he puts in a clear round, but obviously the view is that he will be there or thereabouts. But especially in this race, they go to Clappers, big field. I could see him hitting 1 or 2, and no, I can't have him. No. Sarando, Nick, won easily at Carlisle. What do you reckon to that? Yeah, interesting horse. Interesting that Paul Webber's gone with him rather than Time for Rupert. I thought this race would have suited Time for Rupert perfectly, but. He went for the Betfair Chase. Sarando, I mean, it almost beat Quito de la Roca at Aintree last season, and does look a much improved horse because he came back and won at Carlisle very nicely. I think he's got to improve again, but yeah, he seems to be going the right way anyway. But yeah, he's one of a handful that you couldn't rule out, so yeah, I'm sure he'll run well. And looking further down the list here, Ted, I know that you quite fancy long shot Tullamore Dew. Price, he's 33 to 1. You can get nearly double that on exchanges. He's just a horse I've been, for 2 years, been saying, run him over a trip, and they keep running him over 2.5 miles. They ran him in the Coral Cup 2 years ago. Flew home to finish second to the Henderson Spirit River. Needed every yard of 2 miles 5 at Cheltenham on a stiff track, and yet they keep, I'm like, run him over at last. 3 miles 2 furlongs, and he's a massive horse. Big galloping trackle suit. Paddy Power, he unseated about halfway through. That's probably saved him a hard race. It's just at a massive price. You know, you're getting 8, 9 to 1 a place. I just think the trip is the main angle here. And he's still off 140. He's creeping in down the bottom of the weights here, around 10 stone. So, again, yeah, if you were looking for a big price one, he'd be the one to run into the frame at the big odds.
A local winner here for Nick Gifford and Liam Treadwell. It's Tullamore Dew who wins. Norman the Great was second.
What about you, Nick? Is there an outsider catching your eye?
Yeah, if they ran Muirhead, I'd be quite interested in that. Disappointed at Ascot last time, but it was hampered at a crucial stage and never really got back into the race after that. Grade 1 winning hurdler, the better the ground, the better he'll run. He likes it on top. He's got a lot of ability, this horse, and he'll probably be neglected completely in the betting, but he's the kind of horse as well that comes from the back, so if they do go off hard early on and he just minds his own business out the back, he might be able to pick up the pieces close home and grab a place. It wouldn't surprise me.
At the final fence, it's going to be Muirhead with the advantage. Bideford Legend trying to get back up, but Muirhead is absolutely cantering. The Ladbrokes.com Munster National couldn't be any easier for the informed team of Noel Meade and Paul Carberry. Muirhead's class wins. In second is Bideford Legend, and third is Uncle Junior.
OK, it's Saturday afternoon, half an hour before the race. What are your bets, Nick?
I'll go straight to the bookies and lump on Michel Le Bon.
OK, and Ted?
I think Wybot wins it. I'll do Tullamore Dew each way, and I think 1833 will follow both those home.
So that's a 1, 2, 3 from
Ted.
3, yeah. And is Michel Le Bon for you?
Definitely, yeah. With Muirhead a possible outsider.
Outsider, OK. There you have it. Best of luck.